Hello, Marita. Hi. Hello, Yolanda. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Liz. Hey, Laura. Hi. Hi. Hello. Hi, Ellen. Yeah. Thank you, Marita. Thank you. Hey, Bob. Hi. Hey, Diane. Hello. Hey, Lucy. Hey, Andrea. Hi. Yep. Hey, Kathleen. Hello, Vicky. Hey, Darlene. Hello, 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 everybody. Hey, Louise, Christy, Cindy, Karen. I see Lena. Hello. I see Margaret. I see Anne-Marie. Hi, from Texas. Hello. Hey, Rita. Let me get some water. There's Tammy and Barbara and Andrea. Hi, welcome everybody. Hello. Hey, Christina. There's Marion Allen. Hello. Hey, Nadine. Hello. Hi. There's Vicky. Nebs, Elaine. Hi, everybody. Hello. Yes. Hello. Hi. Hi. So, I came on because I know that today was a pretty sad day, you know? And I want to say this. Yes, yes, Marion, I'm drinking water. Drinking water. See? Because now when I go to talk, and at the same time, you know, I'm a very sensitive person and also caring in that. And sometimes we get very emotional. And again, we might not know a person. You know, I never met Charlie Kirk, nothing but over the years, you know. We feel like we're all together because of President Trump and just the way the country is going. And I gotta tell you something, today is a much different day. See, it's a much different day. I'm hoping, you know, that I came to sit out here because it's a little bit cooler, like the weather's starting to change, and I don't want to get, you know, even though this is screen enclosure, you know, bit with these gnats. They're gnats. They're very little. You don't see them, you know. And so far, so good. And my hand, for some reason today, is a little bit achy. So I'm dealing with that. And I was tired, you know, because sometimes when we get emotional, and I just happened to do a video, I'm probably going to sneeze any minute because something out here. Excuse me. Excuse me. It probably, I'm getting allergic to doing a live. See what's happening? It's my allergies starting. Whoa, what is that? Oh. But I just noticed something when I went to get my coaster. It says, gather here. See? Gather here with grateful hearts. See that? That's how I feel right now. I'm gathered here with so many grateful hearts. Thank you. Thank you. So I'll drink some more. So I want to share with you something that was sent to me by Marion because a lot of people are posting this. So instead of me, thank you, Marion, instead of me posting it, I'm just going to read it like it's a disclaimer, okay? Because, you know, I think when we always say that we have enough is enough, I truly believe because right now, today, with this tragedy to Charlie Kirk, it has affected all of us, truly has. You know, and it's sad to know that as we're grieving for the loss of another patriot, a good person, especially a very, very young guy, you know, that really didn't go to college, okay, but very knowledgeable. And it was his, the way he would be. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, anytime I saw him at CPAC or watched him or that, or even just watching his show, he really didn't get angry like we do, you know, like sometimes I do. He never showed anger or that. And it's very heartbreaking because he was able to connect with the younger generation, okay? He was able to do that. Then what was nice to see, because I always found him to be a little nerdish, you know, like nerdish. So I used to say to myself, well, at one time I thought he was dating Candace Owens, you know, because they seemed like a great couple. But I don't know anything about that. So it made you wonder, you know, like, is he nerdy? Would he be able? And then it was like a shocker when I actually saw him in his wedding picture. I said, what a beautiful couple. And to just see that, you know, he just now seeing him. And that's why today I posted the pictures with his family, because I just felt that instead of everybody posting the kill shot, okay, because there's a lot of smart people out there. I'm a gun owner, but I'm not, you know, I don't deal into the guns like people know. And I think a lot of people can tell, you know, when that bullet hit, you know, that it wasn't going to be good, you know, because a lot of different angles of that. So I figured instead of keep sharing that video of him, watching him at the last moments of his life, you know, that's the hard thing now with everything being, you know, recorded, and how quick, you know, they had that, because that's what happened to me. The first thing that came over my phone was actually him with getting hit, and then the next thing he was over, and you know, that's very traumatic. And so, you know, it's kind of hard for all of us, and I just felt like, you know, it would be a good idea for me to come on and, you know, and have us all together. So if people have questions to even ask, or anybody wants to come on live, you know, maybe I'll bring a person on. But I did want to share with you this statement that I also feel. And when Marion sent it to me, she said, I posted this, you can repost it on yours. And I think we should. So, to the people out there, okay, that, you know, I don't, it says, if I, and that's how I feel too, if I have any friends on Facebook that are Democrats, please defriend me. I'm saying it now. Something I haven't said in the 10 years that I've been on, okay? Defriend me, or let me know so I can defriend you. We have nothing in common, and I don't want to hear anything you have to say. There is no longer friendly debate. That died today with the death of Charlie Kirk. So, and I'm going to post this, because that's exactly how a lot of us should feel. It's, you know, it's over. You see what I mean? It's over where we always, even me, I can remember before President Trump won the 2016 election, I would have liberals come on my page. Some of them I did, you know, delete them. But then there was a few I didn't. The only good thing that I felt is, you know, if they're not doing anything or saying anything or fighting with people, I'm okay with it. So then, after the 2016 election, now we're going into the 2020 election, right? Right before that, I started to get messages from two of them. And both of them thanked me. Can you believe that? They thanked me. As much as I annoyed them, okay? I annoyed them with, you know, defending President Trump and, you know, my ups, my downs, and everything that President Trump did. I defended him and defended everybody. They thanked me. Okay, a couple of them ended up voting for Trump because they started to see what I was saying. And basically, that's how Charlie Kirk was. You know, and right now, we can't let his, this happen to him. And, you know, everything I believe now from what I'm feeling is that everything he did for Turning Point USA, for everything, it's going to get stronger. But we have to be, you know, vigilant. We have to worry, like, you know, is this going to keep happening? Because I've said it. I already said that the Democrats are losing. Okay, my mind went crazy today. I actually felt like, you know, like if I have a time machine, you know, I really wish at times we could go back to the times where we had a town square where they were put on display. Do you get it? When somebody did something, what do they call that? When you bring them down to the square, you pull them in the, what do they call that? In the guillotine type of thing, and let them sit there. See, we have to be better with justice. See, no more of this thing, like I said. We got homeless people that are probably saying to themselves, you know what, I'm better off committing a crime, because then once I commit the crime, they're never going to kill me, even though they might give me, you know, the death penalty, but those death penalties are always like, you know, in the future. Isn't that, you ever think about that? You ever think about all these people that get the death penalty? It's never like a year later, okay? The death penalty is like giving them a reading, you know, like telling them, oh, guess what? You now got 25 years, and that's when you're going to die. See, isn't that something? It's like handing them, and then look what happens. In those 25 years, we have to support them. It's like the guy that I saw, what, about a month ago, that got convicted for killing the 4 students. Remember that? And the thing is, he gets life in prison, and those 4 students are dead. Their family grieves because, you know, they're not going to be here anymore. But yet, we're supporting, now you're supporting, and sometimes these criminals that do this crime, they're better off because now they go to jail, so all they got to worry about is keeping their ass safe. But they really don't have a worry in the world. They know what they did. They know their crime. They know they're going to be there for a long time. But guess what? They never worry about doing shopping. They never worry about a bill. They get their medical. They got a roof over their head. And nowadays, they even get to exercise, okay? Who else knows what else they get? They get to read. They could join a club. They can find God. You ever notice that? They always find God there. Makes you wonder. And the thing is, poor people are sleeping out in the street. People, veterans that fought for our country and loses everything or can't get the medical help. Think about what I'm saying. These people that commit these crimes, like this idiot that killed the Ukrainian girl, okay, what's going to happen to him? Trump is right. Shouldn't give him life, okay? Shouldn't give him that. It should be quick, okay? You know why I say this? Because normally the Democrats always come out and say, oh, we can't do that. You really don't know. Maybe the person is innocent. Gee, guess what? The one that killed the girl, it's right there on camera. How much are you going to see any more truth than that? When you see him, you know, doing it silently, slits her throat, okay? So see, this is how I feel. Why is there even a trial? Do you get it? Why do the taxpayers have to worry about a trial with them, or he gets some cuckoo idea that they have the right to plead not guilty. Isn't that cuckoo land? Isn't that? When you have it on film, but they could go and this is the other idiot shit. You get these lawyers that will defend because it's his rights. Really? What about the rights of your loved one? See what I mean? You ever hear that? The rights of the victim? You know? So it's his right to get a trial. Now he wastes everybody's money because he wants to say, ooh, I didn't do that. Then who did it? Everything that we have has to change. I'm telling you. We can't have this system that we have. You know, look at David Berkowitz, the son of Sam. I was telling my sister the other day, did I ever think that he's already did almost finish with a second term? A little bit, yeah. Second term, because he got 6 consecutive sentences of 25 years in prison. And don't you laugh? Where's the justice to the others? Like, you know, common sense. Isn't it cuckoo? Wouldn't it have been better if they gave him 2 years on the 6th? That would be 12. And then you get a death sentence. Do you get it? And get rid of him. Not keep feeding him, and now he's in jail under the name Son of God, or son of what, because all of a sudden they find Jesus, you see? And things need to be done very quick. And it's sad, and I really hope that when they find who, let me put it this way, who murdered Charlie Kirk, okay? Who murdered Charlie Kirk should, you know, 1, 2, 3. And I think what has to happen is we can't have the Democratic Party always feeling bad. You see what I mean? What is it? Will they stop doing that when it hits their loved one? Okay? Will that happen if it goes and hits them? So I wanted to show you, because I posted this, because I'll tell you, the way I look at it, all of this that we're seeing, all of this that happened to poor Charlie Kirk, even to President Trump when he was shot, is everything brought on by the Democrats. So today I saw something, and I actually wrote this on my page. I know Facebook is playing around, so you're probably not seeing a lot of my stuff. Excuse me. And I said, no, you can't make this shit up. Okay, you can't. Every Democrat politician all over X right now, listen to what I'm going to tell you. So right now, every Democratic politician all over X right now is condemning the violence against Charlie Kirk. Just listen to what I said, and then tell me what you think, because you know where I'm going with this. So what they're doing, every Democratic politician all over X right now is condemning the violence against Charlie Kirk. But, however, see, I got the however in there, Democrats and the mainstream media. You see, I'm going to tell you something. I really wish that the mainstream media is gone, okay? I think we have a better chance of getting our country back once they're gone. Because for me, the mainstream media, you know, to me, they're domestic terrorists, okay? They're domestic terrorists, so is the Democratic Party. See, we always say, oh, are they going to put Antifa or Black Lives Matter? What about the Democratic Party? Do you think they're the same party? Nope, not at all. Yeah, I heard about that. Poor Lauren Boebert tried to get a prayer for Charlie in Congress today. Did you see that? Did you see how there was an uproar and shouted no? Isn't that something? So I want you to just see this little video here, because I blame them. Let's see if it works. What happened here? All right, hold on. Wait, gotta go back. Hold on. Okay. So I blame the Democratic Party. Okay, I'm going to joggle your memory now because they're responsible for this. Ready with this? Remember? This is what they advocate. Come on. Right. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Just so you know where there aren't uprisings.
Hold on.
Maybe there will be. People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator. You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, he can...
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. So even if he lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and felt Mexicans, rapists emerge. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in
Yeah,
Donald
this
Trump,
one.
and that's a
Wilson.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
See that? See that? They're the cause of that. By the way, it's been months. Have anybody seen knee pad Harris? Isn't that something? Have you been seeing her on the TV or that? I even forgot about her. Isn't that weird?
There's one simple vision hack.
That is so strange. Totally forgot about her. Wow. Very strange, right? Makes you wonder. Yeah. So let me see what they're saying. I did see something tonight, and I will let you know. I was watching John Solomon, okay? And, everybody on the rap station are pretty upset. You could see the sadness on Ben Bergquam. I was watching him, and, so many people, because you know what? Even myself, I'm like, you close your eyes for a second, and you can't believe it. Like, I often think about his poor wife. I really do. Looking at that video and how quick. Do you see, guys, why sometimes when, you're leaving somewhere and sometimes you gotta, don't just take for granted that the person, went to work and the whole day goes by and you just don't even make a little call or to see if they got there all right, or just to say as they're leaving the door, love you. or things like that, because you just never know when it's the last time. And I can't imagine, you know, when Charlie got up today, just that feeling, or even thinking, you know, when he got to that event, that this was where he was going to be killed, you know? And I don't know if many of you guys know, but they asked John Solomon if he had any update. What John is saying, and there'll be more news about it tomorrow, is that Charlie was wearing a bulletproof vest. And the way, this is why this guy had to be a professional. So when the shot came at him, right, straight here, the bullet ricocheted. That's why it went that way. And that's what they're investigating. And he knows that when he was talking to a person that was there, that's what they're investigating. So I'm happy to hear that he was wearing a bulletproof vest, but I even said to myself, how does that help now where, you know, how the bullet ended up, like, came out, and then that's what went into his neck. That's what happened. That's what John Solomon said. So I saw the video of his security team. It was sad when they were getting him out of there, and you could see that, you know, it had to be sad. I just feel for his wife and his children. There was a video when Charlie Kirk was sitting in Fox going ready to go on, and his little girl came out with his wife, and she's pretty big, the little girl, and when she saw her daddy, she said, "Hi, Daddy," and then ran over to him, and you could see the gleam. So that's what I was trying to say when I used to think he was a nerd, you know? So it was really nice to see him, you know, have a beautiful wife. They make a nice couple, and he had 2 children, and it's going to be sad. I just can't believe it. And yes, we have a lot of people to blame, okay? Because I'm seeing, yeah, for me, Obama is going to be the fault of everything. To me, he led, his mission was to do exactly what he was supposed to do. Yeah, it ricocheted. You know, I used to notice with Obama when he started the first thing with the police. Remember that? Remember that incident? And then he had to go have a beer with them. And then you remember Trayvon Martin? You know, a lot of people don't know this because when I was here during that time, and people didn't realize that the reason Trayvon Martin was in Sanford was because his family sent him up there from Broward County because he was, you know, there was robberies. See what I mean? So that's how he ended up in Sanford. See, they don't want the news media. See, these are the culprit. The news media is what made him and any other, like, what was his name? Michael Brown? Another one? What about I just read about Hands Up, Don't Shoot. See, all of that was all just preparing us, getting ready, because they really thought that they were just going to fool the people and get their way, and this is what they did. Same thing with the George Floyd. See all the things that we've been a victim to, and why? Because we really don't have, you know, a Democratic Party like my parents were involved with, okay? What has happened, and this is the only way they could take our country down, is you have to have a party. It makes sense, right? You have to have a party that is going that way. See, you would never, years ago, you would never even think that a person who really wasn't born in this country or even have the Muslim faith would ever be able or have that ideology, would be able, okay? Because again, we are a nation under God, one nation under God. So when you hear these things, doesn't make sense, right? And when you got people or other governments, because now what they're going to do is when they investigate who's behind the shooting of even President Trump, okay? Because that's not over. There's a lot of answers that we haven't gotten. They're going to investigate now who murdered, okay? Who murdered Charlie Kirk and why? You know why. It makes more sense. I don't think it was a rogue student or whatever. I don't think that at all. You have to see who infiltrated our colleges. Just think about it. For 30-something years, look at the colleges, which I believe they should all be wiped out, the colleges. They should have no more funding until they get this shit together. Okay? That's how I see it, because that was the first thing of where we went wrong as a country. We allowed to have these colleges, and there was a breeding ground. Do you get it? It was a breeding ground for you to send your child and pay all that money so your child comes out and they're, you know, in another world and against America. See how much money, I shake my head when I think about this, okay? How much money did parents pay to send their child to these liberal colleges so they can learn how to hate America, and to hate America right down to other people's ideology? So I'll tell you, when you really think about this, look what these other countries have done. And that's what we have to find out. And slowly, we're going to find out. Because I believe President Trump, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, J.D. Vance, all of them are going to get behind this. Because we still got to talk about when we heard who was behind the stealing and the rigging of the 2020 election. I don't know about you, but I remember those nights, and I remember hearing, you know, another country, okay, and shit that was going on, and I still believe that. I still believe where we think when we hear about the deep state, okay, the deep state is really, I believe, other countries that infiltrated into us. And all of that happened over the years because, you know, I look at Republicans. I look at some Republicans that are also in, you know, being paid. And I really thought that they thought they're not going to get caught. And now they will. Because there has to be. We're going to demand it. And now it's going to be different. See, for me, the Democratic Party, this was the last straw. I know it. I'm feeling it. I can see it. That once they did this, you know, it's not going to, what they want to do, they want to send a message to be silent. They wanted Charlie Kirk to not talk anymore. You know, eventually, they don't want no conservative. This is how they deal. You know, you can't have the way it's supposed to be. Two parties, and if you disagree, that's why we have debates. And we have civil debates. No. With the Democratic Party, because they got away with it. Okay? It's their way, their belief, their ideology. If you don't agree, they tear you down. We saw it. Remember how it was when, soon as they found out you were conservative. Okay? Look what happened. As soon as they found out that you supported President Trump. See? They want to go and they want to ruin your career. They want to tear you apart big time. See, now it's a little better because I still believe we're a country now that is 85% and only 15% is Democrats. And I believe inside the Democrats, there are people that don't want to be any association with them. But I do believe that the Democratic Party needs to be wiped out. It needs to be redone. It really does. Because all that's going to happen is they allowed. See, there's two. Look. Let me tell you this. where did we become where we have even DEI, right? You know DEI. DEI, good thing we woke up to that. We woke up to all of that, where people are given positions, right? And this is what we're hearing now, that there are some judges that were never elected. You get that? There was judges put in because those people that became judges, they're there to do the dirty work of the Democrats and keep everything. Because whoever decided that they want to take America down, they know they have to do it by getting the judges, and this is what they thought was going to happen. They had all the judges rigged, so the book gets thrown at President Trump. That's the route that they were going. And how did they figure to do that? They do it because they're being paid. You know, you got judges now. It made my head spin today. A judge that was just appointed. Okay? So what is that judge that has no sense? And you know who that judge is that I'm talking about? It's the judge that allowed the guy that killed the girl, the Ukrainian girl. Because if you read up on her, she was the one that let him back on the street. He had 14 incidents. And then did you hear the other thing that they found out? I believe that there's about, now let me get this straight. In New York City alone, just in New York City, I believe they found that there's about maybe 50, am I correct with this? Tell me if I got it right or wrong. But there's maybe 1,500, is it 1,500 or 150, something like that, of people that have broken the law. And really bad crimes, right? So out of the 100, now it's come back, out of the 150 that have broken the law, and really bad, okay, only 5 are in jail. See, only 5 are in jail. This is why you keep getting these people breaking the law. Because when you don't have strict laws, this is what they're going to do. And who else is doing that? The Democratic Party. They do this with everything. They cheat, they have other identities, I believe, that they will go about. A part of me can't wait to find out who this shooter is, or so-called person that did this, and get him to talk, and also find out. Maybe through this, we're going to find out a lot. Okay? Maybe what the news media is going to want to do is make it look like, oh, it was another young student that just didn't like Charlie Kirk. So he figured, you know what, another nut where I'm not going to listen to him, so I just want to kill him. See that? And they're not going to cover the big story. They're not going to cover the big story of who's really behind. Because I'll tell you what, how they did this, and there's pictures out there where nobody said nothing. Another thing like Butler, okay, where the guy, they thought they saw someone sitting on the roof. See? Yeah, President Trump, little by little, he's been firing a lot of these judges because President Trump knows it. You know, when we keep saying the truth has to come out about the 2020 election, well, the only way you're going to do that is once these judges are gone. Because what's the point? If you keep these judges in office, and again, how did we know this? Because during the beginning of, after the 2020 election, didn't we see Jenna Ellis and Rudy Giuliani and people going to these hearings, I often think about the people that were the attendees, you know, in Wisconsin and in Georgia and all of that, that actually took the time and filled out affidavits. How come we don't hear from them anymore? You notice that? You never see anybody interviewing them and saying, how do you feel that you took the time? Because a lot of these people, they were election people for years, okay? They were always there, never missed a beat. And then all of a sudden, they watch the election being stolen. They documented everything. They filled out the affidavits to then just be told, you know, nothing's going to happen. You ever wonder about that? We never see them. Or we never see whistleblowers again, right? We never see anything like that. So what I'm going to do now, I don't know if this is working. I'm not seeing anybody here. Does anybody want to come on and let us know how you feel with all of this? Let me see. Isn't this where I'm trying to get my memory together? No. You know what? I don't think it's letting anybody come on. Yeah. I don't know what this is. Oh, no. Those are for polls. We don't need polls. And this, enable Q&A. Submit questions will go here. I don't know. I wonder if I did that. What will happen? Okay. So now I'm enabling questions. I don't know. Somebody just checked. I'm not seeing where anybody could come on. Did Facebook change since I've been on last? Anybody see on their buttons if they wanted to come on live? Or maybe they don't have it anymore? What's this for? Comments and moderation tools? No? Can't do that. I don't know. Anybody on your side, do you see where you can hit a button and you want to come on? Maybe they don't have it anymore. Never know. Yeah. The reality is going to be tomorrow, guys, when you normally get up and then you, I know for me, when I have the TV on, always at 12 o'clock, I knew on Rav, Charlie Kirk would come on and he'd been on for 2 hours, you know? So let me just see what they're saying on X. Yeah. So just understand something, how the, you know, the way the minds of the Democrats are, especially this woke Democrats. They don't want to debate anybody. They don't believe in that. They figure, like I said, it's their way. And when they don't get their way, they decide what's the next best thing. To either kill you, assassinate you, or whatever. And it's kind of sad that this is the party. And you see what's bad is we don't have a Republican Party, and I'm not saying to do the same thing, but I think if we have a Republican Party that are really fighters, you know, sometimes I wonder with everybody, what is it? Why do we not see them not fighting? You know, it just makes you wonder. That they have to be all on the take. So let me let you know here. Let me go to X. Who knows right now? Well, Kash Patel says they have a person of interest. I don't know why, but I'm a little bit excited because I really want to see how the mainstream media is going to twist this when they find out who the person can be. Because that's what they do all the time. That's why I'm saying That's why I'm saying, look what came up. The moment Charlie Kirk found out Trump had won.
Let's go! There it is.
Poor Charlie.
Everybody should remember this moment. Look, I'm gonna echo Charlie from earlier. Remember where you were when this happened. Remember where you were when you realized that the Uniparty and all of these, just the establishment, you said it's time to actually participate, and look what you guys have done.
And if anyone deserves to get tears in his eyes, it's Charlie. I think we all agree.
I think Erica was jumping some onions or something in the break room.
No one has worked harder than Charlie.
We gotta hear some words here from you, Charlie. You put all this together, my man. Let's hear it.
I am just humbled by God. It's all God. It's all God. God alone. God alone. Decision desk has it. Pennsylvania. It's done. It's beginning.
God bless him. May he rest in peace. Let's see. I don't want to see that. See, they keep showing when he. This is absolutely still shadowing. Please God, watch over him. But I think that was before they knew. Boy. Let's see what people are saying. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he put a tweet, look at me with a tweet, oops. An X out, he said, once again, a bullet has silenced the most eloquent truth teller of an era. My dear friend Charlie Kirk was our country's relentless and courageous crusader for free speech. We pray for Erica and the children. Charlie is already in paradise with the angels. We ask his prayers for our country. Yeah, and this is what he was wearing today. This is what he was wearing when he was shot. See that? It says freedom. Freedom and make America great again. Let me tell you, sometimes if you watched him in these, he went up against some really crazy nut job people. I'll tell you, I give him credit for that, and never lost his temper, And sometimes that's the way you have to be. Never lost his temper, just, wanted to hear their reasoning for things, and then he gave them, and many people seen it his way. Look at this. Every kid deserves a dad. Every wife deserves a husband. Every American needs Charlie Kirk. Listen to this.
Idea what the right words are right now to describe what has happened today, too. In my opinion, one of the greatest Americans.
Yeah, listen to this. This is what we gotta listen to.
No idea what the right words are right now to describe what has happened today, too. In my opinion, one of the greatest Americans ever. You can disagree with me on that, but I've said it for the last couple of years that I saw the difference Charlie Kirk was making in going around to college campuses to talk to the youth, to talk to the future of America, to have a conversation, which is what so many people are unwilling and are afraid to do, but Charlie wasn't. And he went around these college campuses and he let kids speak, let them say what was on their mind, give their opinion, and then he gave his with facts as well. He did what so many people refuse to do. He is the reason why my kids decided they wanted to have an interest in politics and at least be educated most importantly, he was such a man of God. Charlie Kirk is one of the reasons that I'm no longer afraid to wear this. I didn't for such a long time, and he gave me the courage to do so. That's what he led with, his faith in God, his love for his wife, his love for his children, and that was his goal, to make this country a better place for his kids and yours and mine. I am heartbroken, I am devastated, and I am livid. What they want is for us to have fear and to go hide because of things like this. And maybe in some ways, I don't know, maybe we should. We have to do things differently, certainly. But Charlie knew the risk. Every day, he had security detail with him. And sometimes nothing can protect us from evil. I know this too, though. Charlie would not want us to go hide and to be quiet and to run away from the evil, from the people that hate us, who happen to be the same people who preach about diversity of thought and tolerance. And look, they kill him because they don't like his opinions. And they don't like the fact that he was winning. Charlie Kirk already won. It is our loss and the world's loss today. But man, God's plan for Charlie, look what he did in 31 short years. Thank you, Charlie Kirk, for everything, for giving up your life for us. And Erica, we have millions praying for you. I love you. We love you. And guess what? We're not going away. We're going to be here for Charlie.
Just get stronger.
Oh, if it's a trans shooter, maybe the trans community. So this person here goes to the university. Of course, they, them, and look at what he said yesterday. He says here, Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone evaporates him, literally. And then he writes, let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. So a trans student is saying this yesterday, and I also find it very, very odd that the person asking the question was asking Charlie about trans shooters before he got shot. So FBI, Kash Patel, whoever the fuck this dude is, yeah, I think you should look into this.
Wow. Yeah.
He is my husband, Charlie Kirk, is a force. He is a force. He is bold when the world demands silence. He is fearless where others flinch, and he has taken on the battle of the next generation, changing these hearts and minds. I know you guys have seen it at the college campuses, changing the hearts and minds of these kids. It's not a career to him, it's a calling. And it's so incredible to see as a wife how God has prepared him, how God has molded him and used him. All while he's doing that, he's still the spiritual head of our family. It is my honor to be able to introduce you guys to one of the greatest fighters that I know, who is so intentional, who is so amazing, and he never backs down from the fight because he knows who and what he fights for, and that is God, it's his family, and his country. I want to introduce you guys to my husband, Charlie Kirk.
Oh, how sweet. I hope she stays out there, you know, speaking.
In which a shooting like this happens. Yeah, and again, to emphasize what you just emphasized, we don't know any of the full details of this. We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun up.
Look at this nut. I think NBC just tonight had to put out a statement about this because they're stupid. See what the mainstream media is doing it already? When this happened, they want to say that this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration. See what they do? Yeah, I'll let you hear this.
In celebration.
Watch this now.
In which a shooting like this happens. Yeah, and again, to emphasize what you just emphasized, we don't know any of the full details of this. We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea.
Excuse me?
A supporter's gun going off in celebration.
Why did he have a
Do
gun?
not hate the mainstream media on the left enough.
I can't stand
The
him.
one perfect shot that likely hits him in his carotid artery, he falls over with blood splurting out of his neck. We're going to say that that might have been just one of his fans just celebrating. Not multiple shots, one shot placed essentially perfectly. I think you could argue the shooter was aiming for his head and it went low and hit him in the neck, but either way, it was one precise shot that hit him in the neck. And MSNBC has someone up here talking about it could have been one of his supporters celebrating with a gunshot. These people are despicable.
Yeah.
They're trying to preserve some ounce of narrative control, praying this wasn't someone who agrees with them. The most likely thing would be someone taking precise aim at him and pulling the trigger. He could have said something like, yes, someone likely deliberately aimed that gun at him and pulled the trigger. Instead, he tried to play it off as, well, someone could have been celebrating. These people are pathetic. He could have admitted, hey, this could be a radical. Someone who's been radicalized and hates conservatives and MAGA. He could have mentioned that, but of course not. He's not going to say that. These people and organizations need to be called out repeatedly. Just a reminder, I have a free email newsletter where I go into more detail on many of these topics and I give you morning updates. I'll be looking at.
If you want to see the light at the end of this very dark tunnel, listen closely. Like you, my heart is filled with sadness and rage. The reactive part of me wants to unleash hell on every radicalized activist out there.
That's the problem.
But the wiser part of me,
Yeah, I'll
the
let
side
you
that
hear
understands
this.
the vast difference between reacting and responding, reminds
We still gotta stay
If you
calm.
want to see the light at the end of this very dark tunnel, listen closely. Like you, my heart is filled with sadness and rage. The reactive part of me wants to unleash hell on every radicalized activist out there. But the wiser part of me, the side that understands the vast difference between reacting and responding, reminds me to take a deep breath and to remember. Reacting is exactly what they want us to do.
Yep.
They need us so emotional, so enraged, that we look away from the evidence now emerging. Evidence that exposes their crimes against humanity. Whether it's newly leaked emails proving that Dr. Fauci lied under oath, the bombshell study comparing the unvaccinated to the vaccinated, the long-awaited disclosures from the Epstein files, or the countless other exposés now being dragged into the light, they want us distracted. They want us to dominate the news cycle with hateful rhetoric and physical acts of revenge. Do not take the bait. They are masters of manipulation, practitioners of dark magic. And like any illusionist, they rely on sleight of hand. While one hand dazzles your attention, the other sets the trick. Let's put an end to the illusion by thinking and behaving wisely and strategically, by being one step ahead of those trying hard to lead us into hell, by grounding our minds and our hearts in the unshakable knowing that in the end, the light always defeats the dark.
That's right.
We are entering the Great Purge. In that your body rejects consuming toxins, we are collectively ridding our bodies of the poisonous programming we've been ingesting for decades. This is not the time to break down. This is a moment for us to rise up, consciously, strategically, and wisely. We are on the precipice of historic change. Hold strong. Remain vigilant.
Yep.
Your most effective weapon is your voice. Use it, and use it with care and precision. United, we stand.
You are commanded to. I've never felt this way about any public figure that I can think of in my life. I've never felt this way about any public figure that I can think of in my life. But I think it's just because Charlie has done more to impact young people across the globe than any other single person that I can think of. And he's done it in such a way that is like civility beyond anything that is in the mainstream right now. He always maintains a certain sense of dignity in everybody that he deals with. And yet this is the response that he gets to civil discourse. He maintains so much civility in how he deals with people who oftentimes are just downright evil towards him. And this is the treatment he gets in return. And I pray for him. I've heard that he's in critical condition, currently still fighting, and I pray that he will make it through this. I pray that we have another miracle here, because he is one of the last people I can think of who deserves something like this.
You motherfucking ass!
Look, folks, I'm not somebody that cries easily. I was sitting in this parking lot. The spiritual battle is...
Well, guys, I'm going to have to call it a night. So I just wanted to come on and spend some time with you, because I know we're all feeling this, feeling the sadness and that of losing one of us. And, you know, he had an impact on everybody. You know, he, you know, like all of us, many of us wouldn't be here if we stayed quiet. You know, and it's sad, and I feel for him, his family, his parents, his wife now, to raise 2 kids that, you know, it's just sad. It's like, you know, like tomorrow, you'll feel it more tomorrow. But what has to happen is we all got to stay strong, and we can't, to be honest with you, what you're going to have to do, and I'm going to call it, you're going to have to do what Charlie Kirk, the way Charlie Kirk is, that he never lets anybody rattle him. See, there's a part of, like with me, whenever there's my, what do I call that side? Like, I could get upset, you know, but I also have that, you know, that professional side. And many times I've been in a meeting and I don't have, like, you know, where the Bronx comes out and I want to tell them to go F themselves, you know. You got to have that. And that's the way Charlie Kirk has been. But sometimes, you know, people, I guess as we're getting older and we have that freedom, we can do that, you know. But technically, we have to be that way, and lots of times I had to be that way. People used to come up to me and say, Deb, how do you talk to that person when they treat you like shit? Well, sometimes it's the position that we're in, and sometimes it's better to be that way. Sometimes you kill the person with kindness, okay? That's exactly what you have to do. Yeah. And so for many of us, we might have to, especially in a situation like this. I believe he's gonna want the debate to continue, because he wants to hear a person's side. Many of us have tried to do that. You know, we've all tried to be, you know, professional, diplomatic, all of that. We've tried that. We tried that in 2016. And after a while, you know, they push the buttons, because you know what it is? We're not dealing with people that are the same. You're fighting with them, you're trying to get a point across when they only have a one-track mind. It's either their way or they kill you, or the highway. You know, and that's exactly what they did with Charlie. Yeah. They came on because they know he has an impact, you know? And sometimes they don't like it. They really don't. They just don't. So I have 7% left on here. I'm glad I came on because it makes me feel good too. And maybe I'll be on tomorrow, we'll see. And just have to see how the morning's gonna go. Like every, you know, absorbing this and what type of arrangements. I'm happy. I have to get out there. I can't do it now to lower my flag. There's no way I'm going out there now when I got my hand. So I will be lowering my flag because President Trump said to do that, and I was very happy. Let me just, like, I don't know if many people saw what I posted. Yeah. See, and I'm getting nice posts. My friend Jean, she says, I guess she doesn't know I'm on live. She says, hi Deb, how are you doing? I don't know about you, but I'm so conflicted right now. This stinks. The suspect is still at large. Does it remind you of, yes, absolutely. What does it remind us of? Of Butler? You know? Because that's how they want to treat us, that we don't deserve to know anything. Oh, that's me live. Ain't that weird? You ever see how I look when I see me live? Wait a minute. Where am I doing that? Okay, I just want to read you this because I thought it was great, and then really I waited for the you know, news from President Trump. Kathy, that's sweet what you just said. Yeah, thank you. So I wrote, President Trump just posted Charlie Kirk has died. He said, the great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me. My thing is going dead. And now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. Yes, and I hope, you know, the Kirk family and his wife and Charlie rest in peace. And, you know, I'll be saying some prayers for him. And I'm glad this afternoon you joined me with the Our Father and the Hail Mary. And I'll be going over to the grotto in a little while. I probably would do a video too of that before I go to sleep. So I gotta say goodnight because this is gonna go dead. So remember, everything's in God's hands. God loves us. President Trump loves us, after all. See, that's another thing, that don't you find it cuckoo? How do we have a party that wants to take a president away, or they want to fight him when he's doing everything for the American people? Like, it really makes you wonder, how did we get all this evil? How did all this evil get into? And we know one way, okay? A lot of this, I still say, everything with Obama is not what we really thought, okay? And I hope for our sake, because if the truth doesn't come out, then, you know, then truthfully, then we were lied to about a lot of things, you know? And I don't want to feel that way. I want to stay positive. You got to stay positive and keep the prayers going. Have a good night, guys. Love you. Bye-bye.